Why did you come to Putnam today?
Because I was invited, yeah, because a group of great students wrote me letters about gun violence in their communities and asked what I was doing about it. So I figured we'll come in person and have a conversation with them. It was really great. We went to Mr. Requard's class, and he really put on a great group for us, and we had a really important, good discussion about our political system and about how important it is for young people in particular to get involved.
How important is the subject of gun violence to you personally?
You know, to me personally, it's very important. You know, we unfortunately have a lot of violence in our communities, and a lot of it is preventable. If we had better, smarter gun policies, we would be able to prevent some of these awful crimes that are happening. What we need to do is we need to make sure that we're getting illegal guns off the street. We all understand that people want to hunt, people want to do sports, people want to protect themselves, legally own guns. That's part of America's tradition, that's part of our tradition in Western Mass, and we all understand and respect that. And at the same time, what we really do need to do is we need to make sure we're getting those illegal guns off the street, and we're doing everything we can to find and prevent those illegal guns from getting in the wrong hands in the first place.
Are you aware that RAVE has voted Putnam the best vocational high school for 5 years running?
Yeah, I'm very familiar, and in fact, I brag about you guys everywhere I go. I chair a committee in the Senate, the state Senate, around vocational education. We do economic development, which includes a lot of voc ed programs. We're actually trying to mimic what you guys have done here in Putnam all over the state. So when I meet with colleagues from all different corners of the state, from Boston, from Brockton, from Cape Cod, from the Berkshires, from the Merrimack Valley, we cite Putnam as an example of a great way to provide really good voc ed to high school students. And our hope is that if we could clone Putnam and put it all over the state, that's something I'm very enthusiastic about, and I think it's something we should do.
What is the best thing about being a senator?
Getting to chat with people like you, Jayson. It's a really fun job. It can be a challenging job because let's face it, we're in a tough political time. We're in a tough economic time, especially in Western Mass. It can be very hard for our voices to be heard because the default really in Massachusetts is for the attention to be on Boston. So I often think that in Western Mass we have to try 2, 3, 5, 10 times as hard to get the same kind of level of attention as places in other parts of the state. But that's part of the job and why it's so important. And we can really do a lot to help people. At the end of the day, my favorite part about this job is getting the chance to help people, the chance to stand up to some powerful folks who have maybe ignored us or have not paid attention in the past, and gotten them to pay attention through advocacy, through new laws, through new initiatives, and through folks like you and all of your classmates stepping up and reaching out.
Do you have any advice for our Putnam students?
Get involved in your community. You know, it's easy right now to be cynical. It's a little trendy, frankly, to be cynical about politics and to feel like politics and the political process and getting involved in public service, serving your community and helping others, isn't really in vogue right now, isn't something people think is sexy or something that we should be doing. I actually think it's exactly the opposite. It's during challenging times, it's during times when people maybe feel more vulnerable, when people maybe feel like they're being left behind or being left out. That's the opportunity to jump in there and to make a difference. I was about your age when I first got involved in politics. In the town I live in, there was a round of budget cuts. About 40 teachers were threatened with layoff. And I remember the principal called us all in for an assembly and said, you know, this program's going to get cut, this class is going to get cut, this teacher isn't going to be back next year. And I remember sitting in the assembly and just feeling really angry and really frustrated that it felt unfair that 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds were paying the price for bad decisions that had been made somewhere else. And so we got together and we organized and we mobilized. We did a petition drive. We worked to put a ballot referendum up to reverse those cuts. And I remember after a really long, drawn-out process, we did get those cuts reversed. And it was just an early lesson for me as a teenager that despite all the craziness of the political process, despite the frustrations, of the political process, it still remains the most important way to make a difference. So I would really encourage everyone to get involved. Go volunteer in your community. Go reach out to a neighbor who needs some help. Run for office yourself, or get involved, volunteer. Write to your elected officials and to your leadership. Listen and engage with your neighbors who might have different point of view. It's all really important, and you'll learn a lot, and you also have fun in the process. I feel really blessed that I get to do work every day that I don't really consider work, because I enjoy it so much, and I find it so fulfilling.
As the senator for the 1st Hampden and Hampshire district, what is it that you are most proud of?
I'm most proud of the impact we can have for Western Mass. You know, again, I think the default in our state is for Western Mass to get left out. We're 14% of the population, which means we're 14% of the votes in the state legislature. The default for Western Mass is to get ignored. And so what I really love the most, where I feel like I can bring the most change, where I feel like we can make the most of a difference, is by really tilting that equation a little bit and getting some more attention and some more focus on Western Mass. And that is really ultimately what I love the most about the job, and what I find the most fulfilling, because it's about helping people, and it's about making people's lives better. And quite frankly, I don't think it should matter where in Massachusetts you're born, whether you're born in Eastern Mass, Western Mass, Northeastern Mass, Southeastern Mass, or anywhere in between. I think the only thing that should determine someone's success in life is how hard they work, and how much they do to improve their lives and to make things better for the next generation. That should be the determinant, not where you're born or who your parents were, or how much money you have. It should be about your character and about your work ethic. And I think we have a long way to go, frankly, in our country certainly, but also in Massachusetts and in our state, until we build an economy and a society that rewards that type of work the right way.
And finally, what is your favorite ice cream flavor?
This is great. Probably mint chocolate chip. I love mint chocolate chip. But I'm changing. You know, my daughter is really into vanilla. She's only 4, so that might be. And I never. Who eats vanilla ice cream? But she always has 2 bites and then gives it to dad. To eat. So now I'm maybe moving towards vanilla, but definitely mint chocolate chip. That's always been my go-to.
All right. Good.
Thank you.
All right.